So let's start the seminar. Welcome here. Thank you for coming here, join us. And so we'll start. I'm actually Cliff Hine. I'm the inventor of ellapop. I'm the founder and CEO of the company. So I have been working for this company for about 3 or 4 years. So I'm really happy to have some chance to work for many of you from maybe a month after the closing of the campaign. So thank you for joining us. And so let's see, how can I know you more? Where are you from? Let's see, where are you from? Can we do a chat? Do you know the chat room? If you I know the desktop at the bottom on the left side, close to, next to the participant, there's a chat. If you click that one, you can actually type the things, the answer you have. So we'd like to know you. Where are you from? So this is the exercise. In a little bit, we will send out prize and gifts. You answer through chat as well. So this is the practice and see where are you from. All right.
Okay.
Okay, I see many of you are doing that really good, really good. I see Los Alamos, Colorado, and yeah, Albuquerque, and Nevada, Las Vegas, Taos. So that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm really happy to see you all. So how about anyone want a gift? Anyone want a prize? A box of ellapop? Yes or no? Let me know. Anybody
Yeah.
want to do that? Okay. All right. Sure, sure. But you have to answer the question. Whoever with this question, whoever answer the right, correct one first will get a box of elapops. So in my screen, you know, there's in the back of the side, there's a vase and there's a fresh cut flower in it. If you can give me the name of the flower, uh, I don't think it's beautiful. You see, it's probably looks through here all green, but that flower people will hate it most in this season in New Mexico. So don't enjoy that neither. I was suffering from that as well. But yeah, tell me the name of that branches, the flower. Okay, I see someone got it already. That's good. That's good. So,
Nice.
but now I can make a little bit peaceful living with there this far at least. So we'll test it out. How long is that peace can last, or how stable is that peaceful agreement between that branch and me can last? We'll test it in a little bit. Okay. All right, so today we are going to have these kind of things. I'll spend maybe 15 to 20 minutes talk about how the theory behind allopops and how I did find it and how apply to our life for the health of our life, and also and then we will have a question and answers. After that, Marty and I will have some dialogue about his histories in uh, allergies and using allopops, things like that. And we'll have another question and answers. In between each section, we will have prize. So wait and see. So I hope many of you will get a box of allopops during the process. All right. So it's actually started in March 2014. So here is the Glorieta Conference Center. Our church actually had a retreat in early March 2014. I was in that room. There's a very good speaker from far away. He actually talking about his life-changing story. It was very good stories. I started to have tears in my eye, and I felt something in my throat. So I thought I need to take a break. So I went outside and the tear didn't stop, started coughing, sneezing, and also I felt the tight of my chest. With that moment, I thought, oh, so I got allergy. So those tears and sneezing, I lasted for 3 years. So started with year-long allergy, become seasonal allergy, things like that. So that was a suffering time in my life. It was terrible. But to think it back from now, I'm grateful actually. I'm grateful for that suffering. I'm really happy to be the instrument to discover the cause of allergy. So with all my knowledge in the medicine, in biology, genetics, microbiome, so that's what I had done in the research area. So with all those skill and knowledge, so long story short, I discovered the cause of allergy. There's a theory behind it. So I will describe that briefly with you. So this is how we live peacefully in the world. As you all know, there's bacteria everywhere, more and more bacteria, much more than human beings. So we have to live peacefully with them as well. This is how we do that. So in this process, as you can see here, we have good bacteria, probiotics we call it here, and then we have our immune system here. So these two things, this is our normal temperature. There's always environmental allergen there all the time. But in a peaceful life, and we just ignore all other things, we live peacefully between these two. So how we do that? It is actually the bacteria. The good bacteria live in three places in the gut. You know that already. My discovery is that the good bacteria live in our mouth and airway as well. So, and also they are on the skin. That's another discovery. People did that already. So, in all these three areas, what they do, the interaction between the good bacteria and the immune system is that you see this is dashed line that means pacify or inhibit. So the good bacteria actually pacify the immune system, make them idle, not fighting. So that's how they make peace with each other. The immune system become peaceful and don't fight the good bacteria. The good bacteria will be happy and live in the mouth, in the gut, on the skin. So by definition of good bacteria, when they live in there, they will not cause harm, at least not immediate. There's no immediate danger to our life at all. So that's the good bacteria. So what happens, this system is actually here is how immune system will protect us, and actually the good bacteria will not be in a way when the immune system fight the bad guys, the pathogens, the either bacteria or virus. When the bad guy comes, the temperature will go high, at least in the mouth, in the airway. Those good bacteria, they don't like high temperature. They don't like it. They are going to be suppressed or reduced to a minimum. And now the inhibit to the immune system is gone, and it has the strength to fight the bad guy, the pathogens, virus, or bacteria. So this is how the system is designed for to protect us. The good bacteria bring us peace. When the bad guys comes, the good guy will go aside and let the immune system fight. Let the immune system fight. Okay. So now this is how we got allergies. So give you another parable. What is this? You can write in the chat. What is this? Okay. So it's a knife. It's actually a knife with each case. All right, with its protective. So it's a knife. So immune system is just like a knife. So when you need it, like when the patient comes, you want it to fight. Okay. Anyone want to put this knife in the pocket without the case? that
Oh,
sure will hurt you, right? So
yes.
we all know when we give kids or
100%.
something a knife to use, make sure they will put the case in afterwards. So the same things as the immune system. When we don't need that, we need to put the case, put the protector back in. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, in the modern life, this is what happens. This is what happens. The antibiotics and the oral hygiene, they actually suppress the good bacteria. So the signal goes to the pacify, the immune system become weaker, and then it becomes sensitive to environmental allergens. That's how it happens. So that's how why we have allergies. So how ellapop works? How ellapop works? So ellapop actually works in this way. It does part of the work. You, the user, will do the most of the work. So uh, to have enough of the good bacteria, there's two things decide that, right? You have to have the relative abundance. That means in the whole things, how many good bacteria are there? There are many of the bacteria that are not relevant in this situation, no matter it is abandoned or not. They are not relevant. They're just living there and don't hurt you, but they don't communicate with your immune system either. So it is the bacteria that can communicate with the immune system. Those it's those things we need them to be relatively abundant. Okay, so um, when they are here, you will have allergy. When they are here, you will not. That's how the ellapop will help in this case. This is the nutrition for the good bacteria. When you use follow the procedure using it properly, and the bacteria will grow back up and become more abundant. Okay, so this is one thing. This is one side of the story. So the other side of the story is that how much bacteria do you have in your airway and in your mouth? So there can be a lot, there can be very little. Okay, so historically we all have a lot. So tell you a story. You don't know how much bacteria we can have in the mouth. Actually, that's the story in my sixth grade. So I still remember that vividly because that's a discovery. That's a discovery where you can find the glue. Okay, so that was in the 70s in rural area in China. I was in the sixth grade, and we don't have commercial glue or glue stick at all. So we bring something, a porridge or something made home to school when we have a project. But I one day I forgot it. I didn't bring anything with me. So we have a project that we stick our homework on the back side of the wall. I don't have glue. I don't have glue. My neighbor actually said, "You do, you do. You have your glue. You always have it." And while he was seeing that, he opened his mouth and used the thumbnail scratched on the teeth and put that glue-like things on the paper, and that was done. That was done. So that was a surprise to me, and that's how you see we have you can have lots of biofilm if you don't have any oral hygiene. At that time, I had never brushed my teeth. I was
Yeah.
about 11 or 12, something like that. So, but never brushed my nobody actually, nobody at that time. So that's how much bacteria you can have. You can use that as a glue bottle to do some work with that. So that's how much bacteria you can have when we don't have oral hygiene. It's um, on the right side a lot. That's probably too much. And on the other side, modern life, when we do lots of oral hygiene, we can have very little, almost none. I don't think you can scratch anything from your teeth at all. Uh, more in this country, most people. But what we do is that's probably to go to the other end of the things. That's too little. That's not enough. Even though you have sufficient relative concentration, the total mass of microbiome is just not enough. Even with high concentration of good bacteria, you still will have allergies. So this is where the second component comes. You need to maintain a moderate oral hygiene so that you have sufficient mass, not extremely too much, not extremely too little. Okay, this is actually tell you too much oral hygiene, not enough oral hygiene. That makes you to have too few, too little, the microbiome, the bacterial mass, and you want to be in the middle with a moderate oral hygiene. So that's how ellapop works. It do only maybe 25% of the job. The user has to one follow the instruction, do it, and the second is actually maintain a moderate oral hygiene so that you have enough of the total mass of bacteria, and that's how ellapop works. Okay, all right, that's about you see, this is a very complicated message, and this message is related not only to allergies, but also to your dental health. This message is probably beyond the ellapop corporation. We need the social media, actually, the traditional or online media to actually broadcast this message. We need to have a new standard of oral hygiene. So this is where why we want to engage the society and get the message out in a big way. And that's why we do the clinical trial. We want to publish our discovery about this theory and why allopop works, why we have allergy, and how we can use that knowledge applied to many other areas so that we can have a healthy life as well. Things like listed here, uh, we have fevers, how to deal with cold and allergy prevention, and many other things. We just briefly, we have blogs on our website, so you can go there and read those blogs if you are interested. So I'll just briefly mention to you about the miracles. The miracles is actually happened historically hundreds of years ago and to nowadays about several months as well ago or during the COVID-19. Traditionally, those are the miracle of cancer cure. Two of the saint become saint because of that. They either cured their own cancer or cured somebody else cancer after they die. So, and recently, if you read the news, there's actually one guy got cancer cured. I forgot it's leukemia or lymphoma. Uh, his cancer went away after cure of his COVID-19. It's the same mechanism, same ways why it cured after the infection. It is because during the infection, you have a high fever, your immune system become very sensitive, hyper alert, and try to fight and clean up your system. And boom, accidentally, and the immune system actually generated some antibody or some ways to attack that cancer. So that's how that cancer is cured, and that's how the miracle happened. So, all right, I hope more miracles will happen in the future. Okay, that's my talk. I think I'll stop the sharing and we can talk about it. And this is another session that reminded me actually we will have uh, another prize for you, another prize for you. This is another questions. I think you can see on the wall, if you can make my screen image a little big, on this side, there's a map. There's a map, okay? The first one who give the right answer. What are those maps? If you cannot see that, I'll show it here. What are these maps? What it shows? Is that showing your the temperature of the nation or the rain? Or what is that? What is that? Tell me, write in it, write something in
Nice.
your chat box. What is that? What is this map for? This is actually March 2019. This is goes from the 1st, 8th up to the 31st. Okay, all right. Anyone got that answer? I
Yeah, I
don't know.
think it looks like Laura got it.
Okay, all right.
Pollen levels.
Congratulations, congratulations. So you get a box of Elapops. All right. So it is pollen USA. It is the pollen level in USA. That's the whole historical level that might be useful for our business in the future. Okay. All right. I think we're done with the first session. We can start some questions. So if you have any questions about this Elapops, the theory behind it, and just let me know and ask here or ask in the chat box. Lily will read it out. So either way, um, if you want to raise your hand, you can do that. The raising hand is at the bottom of your screen. You can do that. Lily will give you
Yep, it looks like,
authority to speak. Go
yep,
ahead.
there's a couple right now. I think Catherine. Let me
Okay,
see.
go ahead.
Are we all investors today?
Not really. I think they're according to their name. I 26 registered about half and half.
Okay.
Yeah, about half and
Um,
half. Yep.
so for those who are listening for general information,
Uh-huh.
my name is Catherine and I have juniper allergies. They're not real bad, but I will be sneezing and I'm on my 4th day of Allerpops. I sneezed the first day, but today so far is the 3rd day when I have not sneezed. So in the directions, because you said clearly a couple of times today, people need to follow the directions. So with one of the directions is to gargle with basically hot water, about
Yes.
120 degrees Fahrenheit. And my
Mhm.
question is, it turns out that hot tap water
Uh-huh.
where I am is just about 120, but I've been gargling with filtered water because does it work if people gargle with tap water? And if not, maybe the direction should say filtered water.
The without the temperature, it does not work. There it is the temperature actually lose their contact in the biofilm. There's branches of fibers linked together. Those are the hydrogen bond with each other, stuck with each other. The high temperature release that hydrogen bond. That will remove the bacteria much easier. So if you use the room temperature or tap water uh, or filtered water without the 120-degree, it won't work. It probably won't work as good. But if you did the brushing and also tongue scraping, that will help by itself already. It will work at some degree, but it definitely won't work as fast as you using 120-degree, or even if you're using a little slightly lower, something 115, it still work. But if you go down to 100, the impact is minimal already.
So the fact that tap water has chlorine in it, the tap water would still work Is that what I'm
It-
understanding? And
it-
also, what if it's hotter? What if it's 130 degrees instead of 120?
yeah, so it still work with all those chlorine or fluoride water. It still work. So as far as the temperature, you really don't want to go higher because I tested. I cannot hold water which is 125 in my mouth for over a minute. It's really hot. 130, I'm afraid some people, even especially kids, will get burned. So you definitely don't want to go higher. If it is slightly lower, goes 115, even 110, it still works at some level. But you definitely don't want to go to 100. So, but don't go higher than that. It might get burned or very uncomfortable.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.
All right, Cliff, there's another question from Cynthia. I'm going to allow her to speak now.
All right.
Can you hear me? I'm not sure how this works.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Actually, I have so many questions, but I'll just start with simple. I have used them. But I have a question about when you're talking about the scraping and the hot water, as you said. And I understand we are trying to boost the probiotic elements in the mouth. And
Yes.
I'm going to add, I am actually an immunologist with a PhD by training, so I understand much of this. With the scraping and the water, are you trying to remove the less desirable bacteria? Are you saying they are more sensitive to those methods?
Every
What is the
bacteria.
purpose of that?
The purpose is actually to remove the majority of the biomass, the biofilm. So you know
Okay.
there as you probably studied microbiology as well. So there's in the community, in a crowded community, there's a mechanism to inhibit everyone from growing. That's called quorum sensing, right? So if the community is crowded, they are next to each other, the signal will inhibit anyone from growing, from doubling, duplicate. So that's so even if you give the nutrition like ellapop, the specifically designed for the good bacteria, they won't grow because
Okay.
they are next to each other. So that the process is actually to remove majority of the biomass, the space become empty. They
Okay.
don't feel each other anymore. Now you give them nutrition. There's always seeds left on the tongue, in the teeth, in the gap. So that's how it works. So
Okay. That makes
remove the
sense.
quorum sensing mechanism. Okay.
Okay. That makes sense. And my next question is something interesting that's happened to me since using those.
Mm-hmm.
I used them kind of late in the year, so I do think they helped allergies, maybe not totally. I want to comment on what may be a potential side effect. I don't know if you've ever seen this. I did have my daughter suck on a pop.
I had severe lip lines.
Okay. Well, I just want to add, I had my daughter suck on a pop for me because she does not have the spring, or doesn't appear to have the spring allergies that I do. And you suggested having a family member sometimes suck on a pop. And mine arose, interestingly, mainly after having allergies after I'd had her, or not, I'm sorry, antibiotics, several rounds of antibiotics after having her, and some enhanced oral hygiene, maybe too much. Anyway, she used to get cavities all the time, still does. I haven't had a cavity for like over 40 years. Since using the pop that she sucked on, I've had 3 cavities. And I'm wondering if I transferred, along with potentially good stuff, a cavity causing what, Streptococcus mutans, maybe? Any comments on that as a potential something that might need to be addressed?
Okay, so that this is the first case actually you tell me about that. So with my knowledge about those two group of bacteria, they work together. It should be beneficial for the teeth actually for in the long run because Veillonella is actually the bacteria metabolize the lactic acid to remove that and become short chain fatty acid. So those short chain fatty acid is not as bad as lactic acid. So it should be good for the teeth in the long run. I don't know specifically what happened in your case. Do you need more pop to actually do that? I'm not sure. So there might be some transfer of some other bacteria from your daughter to you. Try a little bit more pop and see, get the villanilla population a little bit higher. That might help you.
Right.
As far as the dental caries is usually caused by those low pH. So I think if we do those have more villanilla, the dental caries issue should be solved. That's my understanding of this community, how they work together.
Okay. And can you recommend any place, because I'd like to get my oral microbiome actually tested because I'm interested in this. And do you know a company that does it anymore?
No, I know actually the biome here they test the gut microbiome. It's the same technology. It's actually the same technology. If your purpose is only to sequence the bacteria and know what kind of bacteria are there, you can send your sample. Actually, you can ask them specifically, say, I just want to sequence this bacteria community and know what kind of bacteria are there.
Okay.
They probably will just charge you the same way or less. Don't do the analysis, just give me the name.
Okay.
That might be their another business they can handle. I think you're not the first one. At least
Okay.
2 or 3 others I say they want to know. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
sure.
I'll let somebody else ask questions.
All right.
Yeah, Cliff, I have one more in the chat. Why is using nasal saline rinses not recommended?
Oh, nasal rinsings. Natty part is so this good bacteria. You know, these primarily live in the oral cavity. During we speak, we eat, and we breathe, those small particles, small liquid particles will go to other part of the airway, into the nose, into the lungs, things like that. And they will live in there for a short time because of the environment issue, the mucus will move all the time. They tend to be cleaned out if there's no receding. Okay. So those bacteria live in the nose actually help to reduce the inflammation locally. So if you constantly do those neti pot, rinsing it out, it won't help. It won't help those local immune cells in those tissue already. So even though that concentration short chain fatty acid in that part is not that much, but it will help. It will help. So short chain fatty acid work only at the short distance because many of the tissues can actually using that chemical as energy.
Great. I have another question here from James. How are the clinical trials going?
All right, sure. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. The clinical trial is actually, we started already. And they are preparing the protocols and designing the groups. And now, previously, I think I suggested them do 2. Now they designed to have 3 groups. So we have the ellapop, the standard using the experiment group, and we have the group actually take the ellapop without using the method, won't keep in the mouth at all, just swallow it. And they will have the third group actually use the placebo, but use exactly the same method as the experiment group. So we are testing both the method and the ellapop. So we are doing that. They're doing the design. The application will be submitted in several weeks. So that's where we are. So we'll see. I'll update you periodically. All right. So now I think we can go to the next session. The next session is actually, we can give you another prize. Another prize. We can give a little more. If you anyone the top 3 right answer, I think we can give you a little more of the uh, ellapop. Anyone the top 3 who answer this question right will get prizes. So this is actually a quiz about what we have talked about. So there are 2 things decide how ellapop will serve you better. What are those 2 things the user need to do to get the best result from elapops? Okay, so that's your work for next minutes, but we'll continue. You can write it in the chat room, and Lily will know who got it right. And the top 3 right answer, you don't have to write long, so it's just maybe several words for each. That'll be fine. Okay, all right. So next, we'll talk with Martin. We'll talk with Martin about his experience with ellapop. So Martin is actually the lead investor of this campaign. We found a campaign, so he has used ellapop before. So Martin, thank you for actually help us to start the campaign and spread the word. So how about tell us uh, your story about your allergy? How long have you had it? Things like that.
Well, I've had allergies my entire life. I grew up in Chicago, suffered migraine headaches 1973. In fact, I was the guard on the basketball team. And I get tunnel vision from migraine headaches. And I experienced it the first time. And I started throwing the ball over the players' heads. And the coach took me out. And I had a severe, painful migraine headache. And that was in 1973. My mother, of course, was at the game when we returned home. She started doing research, and we thought it was at that time MSG, monosodium glutamate, was added into the foods. And my mother, being a great mother, was trying to figure out why her son had this migraine headache, which laid me out for 48 hours. So it was a severe headache. Well, fast forward to almost 2 years ago, Dr. Hyde, experiencing severe allergies for that long. And we talked about this where back in those days, people really didn't understand allergies. We didn't have a Dr. Hahn who, at that time you were learning, being a chemist, biologist, bacteriologist, geneticist. And thank God you arrived, because you changed my life, honestly. And I wouldn't be lead investor if that did not happen. So suffering those allergies, and it was everything from severe migraine headaches to muscular arthritis to congestion, nasal congestion, the watery eyes. I had all the symptoms, and I was on the pharmaceuticals for many, many years. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you find actually try ellapop?
Well, the story is I was on my laptop in my living room, and a commercial popped up. Now, I mute all commercials. I don't listen to commercials, and I've been doing that for 20 years. And I just happened to look over at the TV, and Dr. Oz was on, okay? And there was a commercial during his program, and I saw Allerpops, the shirt that you're wearing, right? That logo flashed across the screen. And I was like, Allerpops. I mean, it sounds like it might be related to allergies. Did not know. And I ignored it because I was like, why wouldn't I know about this? And then I saw the commercial again. And this time I kept the audio on. And I was like, this can't be real. Okay, I would know about it. I've been on everything. Okay, where did this come from? And of course, I called the number, and guess who picked up the phone? You did. And I was like, my gosh, the guy who invented this is talking to me on the phone. I said, how does this work? And you told me and I followed the protocol exactly what you told me on the phone, and you told me the instructions were included. So make sure I follow that. And I did. And it was tremendous. I mean, just amazing results. I could not believe that they worked. Because it's a mystery, you know, bacteria, oral hygiene. All I knew my whole life was brushing my teeth every time you eat, flossing, and then scraping the tongue came around about 15 years ago. And I learned that that necessarily is not the best protocol for someone that has allergies.
Okay.
And yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. I think you have two actually. Your allergy came back after ellapop as well. Those two instances.
that's
One
right.
is something related to your medical procedure. The other is your experiment. Can you tell us about
Yeah.
that?
Oh
That will
yeah,
help
yeah.
other
Very
people.
interesting. True to what you said, exactly. And the two that we know about specifically that I was encountered was antibiotics, and I unfortunately had a kidney stone, and I went in and they did the shockwave therapy on that, and they gave me antibiotics. And sure enough, 3 days into the antibiotics, my symptoms manifested again. I was like, oh, this is what Dr. Hod was telling me, you know? So I immediately went back on the Allerpops. I did 3 pop cycles, as I call them, and the allergy symptoms disappeared. So I think I may have called you and
Mhm.
told you about my experience,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, because I had 2. Okay, I
Uh-huh.
can't remember. Yeah, and so I was like, man, he's right. This is exactly what happened to the science that he has researched. Antibiotics will kill that healthy oral bacteria, and of course, the immune system perceiving the pollen as a false poison created the histamine again, and I went right back into lapsed back into my allergy symptoms, and then I took the pop cycles and then they disappeared again. Yeah, so that was amazing. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the
you're
story. That's
welcome.
important actually. We all will know those things will suppress the good bacteria and make the allergy worse. Okay. All right. Thank you for your story. And let's continue work on that and so that
You.
many people more will get allergy relief, get the natural allergy relief. So, okay, I think we can start another price quiz. I told you before actually we want to test um, the juniper over there, and how good is the peaceful between that and me. So I suffered from the juniper allergy severely, and we'll see how I react to that. All right. So today it's probably not. This is a freshly cut from my fresh front yard. I believe this is actually one seed juniper, which is in New Mexico most common. At least I can say not much reaction right now. I'm not sure we have some pollen or how much we have it. Not much. I don't. This is not the pollen here right now is not really high. It's medium high, I think, lately. So I'm not sure we have any pollen. A little bit dusty, but not that much. But it
Hmm.
looks like so it won't react much. Do you think it'll make me sneeze? Write it down, yes or no. If I do it a little bit closer, write it down, yes or no. Okay, yes or no. Okay. I hope you have the answer already. Let's see. It's just juniper smell. It's just juniper smell. I don't see much actually. All right. It I, it won't looks like. Let's how about this way? No, won't either. I lost my sneeze reflection, looks like, to juniper. So yep, I think that tells you actually, at least I'm really not that sensitive to the juniper pollen at all right now. So I don't know what's your answer, but I think it's looks like it's no. So we'll give you the top. How many gifts we have given?
We've had 4 so far.
I hope we have 30% or more people will get the gift. So if not enough, we'll give top 2. Whoever give the top 2 no answer will get the gift, a box of Elapops. Okay. All right. Thank you about this, and we can start another question and answer session right now. We have maybe 5 to 10, less than 10 minutes, 5 maybe. If you have any questions, we can chat about it, either to me or to Martin. And we have our team, Lily work here, and Paul work with the marketing side as well. Joe is here working with me on the campaign side. So and finance. So
Dr. Hahn,
if you have
can
any
I
questions about the company and how we work together, things like that, the future, we can answer those questions as well. So
Cliff, I'd
Okay.
like to hear Marty's other story.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah,
Lily?
well, you said
Yes.
Marty
You
had
can raise your hand
stories.
with your
Yes.
hand raising
Cliff,
button over there.
she wants to know my other story. I never got to that, right? My other story.
So
Cliff?
if not, the common questions about the Ellapop is actually, when do you have other taste other than licorice taste? So that's the common questions we have. What I want to tell you is actually we will get the new formula. One is ready. We probably will put that one on the market early next year in the next batch of production. So it's going to be jujube tasted, something like that. We replaced some of the ingredients that people are sensitive to, like lactose, even cinnamon, coconut powder, and coconut oil. So that's those kind of ingredient will be swiped out, replaced with other ingredients. Not only the taste is better, actually we did test, more people like the new version. So, but also will be, what do you call that? Vegan version. It's actually the people, there's no ingredient from animal at all. Okay. All right. Thank you, Marty. All
Cliff,
right.
you got to put your headset on. There you go.
All right.
There you go. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, the Catherine, I believe, asked if she could hear my other story, and I'll be very brief. Okay. Yeah, and just to let everyone know, this oral hygiene, as it turns out, I grew up like most of us. It's very difficult as Americans not to use toothpaste, mouthwash, scraping the tongue, dental floss, all of this, right? It's part of our protocol. We were raised with that. Well, that was a tough one because, you know, when you eat something and you feel something on your teeth and you're just conditioned yourself to want to get it off, you know, you might use that toothpaste and brush it off. So following Dr. Hahn's protocol, which is you're going to have to back off on the sterilizing your oral hygiene. So I I couldn't at first. I started brushing my teeth with toothpaste because I wanted that feeling that I'm used to, right? And I was flossing. I was never big on tongue scraping anyways, but everything else I did. And sure enough, it was after probably a year of being on them, I said, no, I'm going to brush my teeth, right? And I did. I started brushing my teeth, and it was that three times using Crest toothpaste, my symptoms manifested again in my allergies. And I was like, I can't believe this. And that was even before the kidney stone antibiotics. That was the first thing that happened. And that's the story. And I called Dr. Hahn and I told him about it. I said, I can't believe this. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do about brushing my teeth. And then he said, listen, he just had his dental exam done and he didn't have any cavities. His teeth were clean and he's following the warm water, right? And Dr. Hahn, you can share with them what you shared with me, but I followed that and it works. My teeth are completely healthy, normal. I've gone to the dentist. He's given me a clean bill of health. I've been on Allerpops almost 2 years now. So it's been a year of just using warm water. And I will floss with a non-flavored floss. And I do that like once every other day. So I'll get the food that's lodged in between the teeth. But it's no more mouthwash. It's no more scraping the tongue. It's all washing my teeth with warm water and doing that floss once in a while. And yeah, and the symptoms disappeared again. So I've had a great experience with it. My personal experience is phenomenal. And that's one of the reasons I could not be involved in this, to share the word with other people. I don't want anyone to suffer what I suffered through for close to my whole life. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin. Yeah, that's right. I think as far as the moderate oral hygiene, so that's going to be vary from person to person. For me, I can tell you my standard right now is actually I do a 2-week rotation of brush and floss. So I do it only on Sunday night. That's on one Sunday night, I brush my teeth with water only. On the other Sunday night, I do floss every gap, really serious, carefully. So remove all those biofilm. So that's the process. I do a 2-week. This is probably on the end of the rare oral hygiene end of that. I think a 2-week is kind of on the boundary. And the other is actually when every day you can brush your teeth with water and anything in between. You can test it yourself and see what kind of frequency is best for you. Actually, that will maintain a good health teeth and gum and also without allergies. So I think there's optimal point for everyone. That range is probably not small, it's a big range. So I think it'll fit for everyone. If you really have any specific dental issues, that's where I said we will need the whole society to involve in this movement, and actually dentists can involve in this issue and see what's the best dental practice for each one, and we'll figure it out. And at the same time, we'll reduce the allergy epidemic as well. So, all right, last question. Is any last question?
Yeah, I have one, Cliff. So the first one asked was, Crest's chemicals, can we use salt or baking soda, and why do we need to gargle for 5 minutes?
We don't suggest use any chemicals for either prepared or using ellapop or regular routine. We don't need that. It's the physical brush or flossing. It's that physical mechanism actually remove the biofilm between the gap on the teeth and between the gap and gum and teeth. So we don't need those chemicals. why need 5 minutes? 5 minutes seems long. I know many people actually talk with me about that, and I'm really feel like that we can reduce that to 3 minutes probably. Um, I feel if it's shorter than that, um, the impact will be, the cleaning will be not as good. So one thing is that, the hot water 120 is not that high. So it's a mouthful of water. When you put it into your mouth, all the tissues, your teeth, your gum, your cheeks, the bones surrounding it will absorb those temperature. So the first or two mouthful of rinsing, the temperature actually won't raise that much. Maybe after a minute or so, the temperature will raise above 110. So, and at that time, it start to work. So give another 2 minutes, that's probably minimum. And there's the biofilm between the gum and teeth, that's actually need a longer time to remove. That's why we cannot reduce that to, let's see, 1 minute. It won't. The tongue probably is good, but there are the gap between your teeth and gum. It needs a little bit longer time to remove that, squeezing those things out. Um, yeah. Otherwise, we don't want to add another step like flossing those gaps. We don't want, that's even more complicated. So I think hot water will replace that. That's why um, we can may reduce that to 3 to 5 minutes. We can suggest that. So probably not less than that, not less than 3 minutes. Okay. All right, I think we are close. We are really close to the end of that. If we having many questions, or we can.
Hey, Cliff, I'd like to say something.
Okay, Joe.
Just everybody that's listening, if you would just like to invite everybody to talk to everybody that they know and join the next webinar, so they can learn not only about the fabulous product that Cliff has brought to the world, but also about the great opportunity of the investment in the crowdfunding campaign. They may be thanking you for years after you do that, but if you can invite as many people as you know onto the next webinar, they can learn a great deal about what we're doing.
Yep.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Okay. Now I think we can give you the last gift. Okay. I think we are close to 30% right now. So let's see, the last one is actually related to our Toronto. That's where Toronto, give me the worst pollen in the fall time in Toronto. Do you know the pollen causes most trouble, most allergy in Toronto, Canada? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. So this is actually, Toronto is the place we are going to do the clinical trial. So probably start with somewhere in the fall or later than that. So depending on how fast Health Canada works through our application. So we'll see. It's the ragweed season in the fall over there. That's the worst pollen over there. It causes many people suffering over there. So we'll do the clinical trial with about 60 people over there in 3 groups, about 15 to 20 each group. And that's why we do, as Joe said, we do the clinical trial, and we use the WeFounder crowd campaign to get sufficient money for that, so that we can carry the message, the big message to the society, and use all the medias to help us to not only promote ellapop, but really we will have a healthy lifestyle from oral hygiene to allergy free. All right, so that's our mission. We'll do that. So thank you very much for participate this webinar. As Ju said, we will have some webinars in the future. We'll send out invitations and ask your friends and any contacts, family, come join us. I'm sure this will save you a lot of money in the future. So we'll talk other applications. All right. Thank you very much, and we'll
Thank you.
close that. All right.
Thanks,
Have a
Cliff.
great day.
You too. Thanks,
You too.
Cliff.